Hello, people. It's nice to be here again. I'm happy to see you. It's a wonderful, wonderful Saturday, and I'm greeting you with the time zone you are in. Wherever you are, we bless God for seeing a new weekend, promising week ahead of us. Thank you very much for being here. It's Impact Plus, and my name is Nonso Chukunonso Mekepo. You're welcome tonight.
It is a journey of growth, resilience, and unity. I assure you that my presence on this flight aligns with my ministerial mandate to champion Nigerian industries and promote our national interests. EPI's inaugural flight symbolizes more than aviation. It symbolizes economic times, shared prosperity, and mutual growth.
Today is the day the Lord has made for EPIs, and this will not stop. We pray that it's going to go higher and higher and higher. We have started under very, very difficult circumstances, but it will not stop, I can assure you. We are going to give 100% support to EPIs to continue these efforts. We are going to see more roads, more fleets on this route, more slots on this route as time goes on.
Of the Zubo family.
This takes the pressure off the NAIRA.
Yeah.
This one. You understand me? It's not champagne that they imported.
Senator,
This is all what
this Zobo is better.
Look at this.
All right, we're back. We're back, my people. That's what we are talking about. Yes, 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 yes. I am in it. I am in it. I'm wearing it. Yes, the controversial. If I should call it a costume, no, it's a dress. It's a tradition. It's a dress that is an average Igbo man is noted with. But Isiagu is trending for what? For good, And then you've seen it, airpiece, giving the wings to fly. And tonight we'll be talking about it with my guest, one of my in-house analysts, Sir Chris Maku, an iconic broadcaster, a PR person, a politician, yes, of note. Yeah, that's a part I like to talk about mostly. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nonso, and I hope the Easter went well over there. Here we're still in the Easter mood, and I wish Nigerians and the global community, compliments of the season.
Thank you very much, sir. Easter is done and dusted over here. We've all moved on, and thank God it went well. It's the same thing everywhere. The Lord is risen, and we are all celebrating. Sir, airpiece has you know, Epi started like what looks like a child's play. It looks like a child. People say he go survive. This, that. He's just playing to the gallery. Anywhere there's crisis, he lands and picks people up, saves Nigeria, the currencies and the rest of them. The shame, if I'm using that word. And then suddenly he is pushing further, trying to get the right to fly direct from Nigeria, Lagos to be precise, and all that, Abuja to London, Gatwick Airport. You know, sir, it's a breaking news. And is an event that has consumed the internet. You know, that has consumed the internet, and it has so many positive. But the one that is raising the eyebrow now, which is why I am proud in it, as a typical Igbo, you know, is the Chicago dress code of the airline. So please, can you give us your opinion about the airline itself? Because we'll go deep into it later. And of course, the reason behind the Isiago.
Well, thank you very much, Nonso. Let me start by saying that I'm somewhat perturbed that most times Nigerians leave what we should be discussing to dwell on inanities. That's the way I say it. To dwell on trifles, to dwell on matters that has very little to do with the progress of this country or, you know, with the successes of businesses in Nigeria. It is sad that at the time we are Nigerians of very goodwill, we are celebrating the break-in of air peace to the London route. Some tribalized Nigerians who are actually the problem of this country left the kernel of the matter and we're looking for somewhat distractions to dwell on. So for me, it's a very sad development that such mischief would be perpetrated against an airline like APIS that has proving itself a very patriotic establishment or entity in this country, proving itself selfless and proving itself in terms of corporate civic responsibility. So it's really sad that we are talking about what the crew members of that airline wore, instead of talking about how to ensure that air peace does not go the way of Arik, does not go the way of Medview and all the other airlines that have tried to break into that monopoly, so to say, by the British Airways, because that's what it is, and perhaps Virgin Atlantic, and of course the UK government. But you know, one thing I find exciting is that in the midst of this mischief, because that's what I call it, I don't paint words, in the midst of this mischief, there is a patriotic Nigerian who, by his own account, said he had wanted to come to Nigeria earlier before the announcement of that breakthrough. And he had to postpone, his trip. He's a Nigerian. He had to postpone his trip because he was excited and said he wanted to support APIS in his own little way. Not just because the fares are competitive, but as a patriot, that he wouldn't wait to see a Nigerian airline fly direct from Gatwick to Lagos and succeed at it. That Nigerian is one Jide Iyaniwura. And I doffed my cap for him. His videos are online. While others were looking for inanities and trifles to talk about, he said he took time out. He's also a public relations person himself. He took time out to observe every bit of that trip to Nigeria, not the one from Nigeria to Gatwick, but Gatwick to Lagos, to Nigeria. He said he took time to observe everything, and he rated the airline. by his own record, he said that 3 days before the flight, that Air Peace, officials of Air Peace were thoroughly professional, that they kept all passengers informed, reminding them 3 days to, 2 days to, and a day to the flight, both departure, check-in, and everything. And according to his own account, he said when he arrived at the airport, because perhaps he was edgy and he had this impression that the UK government with these big airlines do not want a Nigerian airline or flag carrier to succeed within that route. So he was looking out for the red flags, and they were there, legion. First, he said when they arrived at the airport that there was every indication that the management and staff of Air Peace wanted to stick to time and all that. But suddenly, less than 24 hours to that flight, the portion they were assigned at the airport for check-in was changed. And he said when he got to the airport, sorry, it's hot out here.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right.
So he said when he got to the airport, the first red flag was that there were no pointers to Air Peace check-in location. That was the first red flags. And then when he discovered where it was, he observed that it was tucked in far away somewhere. And to make matters worse, that the conveyor belt that is to convey, luggages and all that wasn't working at that particular location. He was concerned about these issues. He was very, very concerned. And he said the other red flag, which didn't add up at all, was that he had some excess luggage. And by the time he has gotten billed by, they weighed it and then tag a bill to it, I think he said $100 and something, either $160 or thereabout, for his excess luggage. When he went to pay, there's always a third party that handles these things for the local airport authorities, which has nothing to do with Air Peace this time around. Now, when he went to pay, instead of the $160, he said the person, the attendant there was insisting against what was written, that it was either 180 pounds, no longer dollars, or thereabout. And he said he found that queer and an argument ensued. He refused to pay until a lady he later identified as the daughter of the chairman of the airline, of the CEO of the airline, Allen Onyema, came on, was too professional. But because they all wanted to see that trip succeed, she even offered to pay. At that time, he didn't know it was Onyema's daughter. So he said, he told the lady that it's not about, all that was clear was that it was an Air Peace official. So he told the lady that it's not about the money, but about converting something that was clearly written in dollars to British pounds. But then along the line, the COO herself also came. In the words of Jide Iyaniwura, he was full of praises for the professionalism. He was particular about this, for the professionalism applied by both Air Peace officials in trying to resolve the issues. Now that was it, because he rated his review of that flight in 3 parts. The airport protocols and all that, which this one falls into, and of course the flight itself and the landing. So then he talked about the flight itself. He said it was quite an experience. In his own esteem, there was nothing to add. And when you listen to the guy, you see he's somebody who has transversed the word, so he knows what he's talking about. So he said there was nothing to add except to ask the management of APs to sustain that level of professionalism in all their applications. And he said along the line that the flight itself, along the line there were some storms, and the what do you call it, the pilot and his team handled it excellently. He said, in fact, you feel like you are home in Nigeria, because while the pilot was an Easterner from his name, the co-pilot was a Westerner, a Yoruba man, and he said in between they were interweaving English with a pidgin language. And he talked about the food. He talked about the food also. It was very comprehensive. It was a very comprehensive review, because I think the guy was hyped by this ISIAGU thing, that he had now had to come up with the real issues to discuss the real issues that could even threaten APC's sustenance of that route. So he said the food was top notch. The quantity was good and much better than you could have on the other airlines. The variety too was much more than what you used to have in the other airlines. He said it was one flight that he enjoyed from beginning to the end. Takeoff was super, according to him. Landing was super. So he said that his consign, which was why he shared this, his consign was that what happened at Gatwick was enough red flag to show that the very factors that militated against Medview, Arik, and others is at play again. And he is more concerned about how the Nigerian authorities must stand, and queue behind APs to ensure that these things do not repeat itself. In his own words, he said, it is not a fight between Allen Onyema and the British government or the Gatwick authorities. It is not one between APs and them. That this is a fight that we must have, Nigeria must have some ministers, very critical ministers. He mentioned the Minister of Aviation, he mentioned the Minister of Home Affairs, and one of the ministers that he did, he said they should move quickly, because these are things that involve bilateral agreements. So he said that the way to curtail this thing is for the Nigerian authorities to make it clear and certain to the UK authorities that if these things continue, then we will have no choice than to reciprocate here in Nigeria. And that will settle it, because it was obvious that there is already a move to frustrate the management and staff of APs on that route. So I think that these are the issues. I took time to outline this because I think that rather than talk about ISIAGU and all the other things that they want to weave around it to subsume the real issues, we should be here talking about actually, the factors that is said to militate against APs, instead of talking about things that have very little effect or nothing at all, on the success of that arrangement. I think I did like to hold it here because I think you wanted to butt in a while ago.
Yeah, I wanted to because I love the line of the angles you took it to, reiterating or exposing some of the gameplay that has led to the demise of so many of those previous airlines. Wonderful airline like Arik, from nowhere, fizzled out. The thing about this is, like you said, it is not about Onyema. It's not about APs. It's about the Nigerian government being up to task. And I must commend the Honorable Minister of Aviation. Yes, I must commend Festus Keyamo for this. And I must commend the presidency for that, whom I'll have a rejoinder regarding his experience when it comes to airline politics. I hope that I'll remember it to talk about it. The thing is, if we go on this way, we don't have a national flag airline. We don't even have our private ones that are not flying, and yet we contribute to I should say, we divided the number of percentage of people that travel across the globe. Nigerians has a larger part of that. Yet we use other airlines, the Ethiopia airline, this airline, they all go, and then we come in. And then now we are trying to bring in ourselves. We are trying to bring in the ones that belong to us. Someone somewhere is looking at tribal sentiment.
Very terrible.
I thank God that this gentleman that you mentioned was able to lay out these findings, and to also conclude that, look, if the government of the day does not come into play, it will continue. Because you cannot tell me that previous airline does not know the base, what's called the universally accepted standard of airline, of flights and organizing of or running of an airline, but yet we keep failing. Yet we can't sustain our national airline, and even if it comes up, something else will come up, because people within are joining with the international they're collaborating to kill others. This is a private business by Onyema. And I want to believe that, I know very much that he must have seen it coming. So he will be up to task in dealing with it. And also,
of course, he's talking already. He's talking. And he also, in fact, when I read his reactions over these very unpalatable experiences at the Gatwick, it actually enunciated most of the points, put forward by Jide Yaniwura in his own review. So the beautiful thing is that he's talking, and one assurance that I picked out of most of the things that Allen himself, has put out in the public domain with regards to this agreement is that I think he was asked about what he was doing to actually prevent Air Peace from going the way of these other airlines. And he from what he said, I picked one very strategic difference. He said that the problem was that hitherto, most of the airlines that actually attempted but did not succeed, had foreign partners who either would lease aircraft to them and stuff like that, or they are not the owners of the aircraft they are using. So you now find out that they incur so much operating costs and very little limited profit. But he made it clear that right now, Air Peace has about, if I recall what he said very well, if my memory isn't failing me, about 30 aircrafts, and that he has already paid for another 30 aircrafts that will bring its fleet to about 60. And none of this is under the wet lease arrangement. So I think that this is where the advantage lies. This is where his enthusiasm, stems from, that Air Peace, once the government does its own bit in terms of protecting, its own entities on this very lucrative, because it's one of the most lucrative, routes in the world today. So he said, once the government does its bits, you can take it for free. That by the grace of God, Air Peace will not fail in this enterprise.
Let's look at like we're saying, the government will do their bits. In this one, I am positive. Chris, I've never been as positive as ever when it comes. Why? Because Andy was not omelta ono melty me, as in, it's the government has need for such what's it called, mode of transportation. The people who make up this government have such needs. And then aside from that, there's been that call for us to have a national flag, and which was hurriedly done by the past administration and then left somewhere. It will still, they are still working around seeing how they can bring it to be. Nigeria needs more of this. We need more of such. That's good. Nothing stopping other people from bringing in up their own airline, following the templates that Allen Onyema has created. So if the government want more of it to come in, and then of course bring in income, exchange rates, and all that, this is the part they have to play. They have to, the Minister of Aviation, the Interior Minister, I think the External Affairs Minister has a bit of that to also come in. They should come together. Not look at it that it's an Igbo man business. It's an Igbo man business. It wasn't an Igbo man business when Onyema was using his flight to go to areas that are as dangerous as whatever it is, to pick Nigerians and lift Nigerians out of danger without one collecting a dime from anybody. It wasn't a Nigerian, it wasn't an Igbo man business when he was fighting, because it's not just about going out to lift. He was also fighting the politics. He was also diplomatically dealing with the politics of what's it called, airline politics, aviation politics across globe. He was dealing with it. He will, in all his interviews, he will always cry. He will always cry and make mention of the past air fleets that are falling. He refers to them as there's this emotion, there's this passion in him, how he talks about them. So he's now looking at that. Going forward, there could be more airlines. We used to look at Arik, we used to look at Shashanki and some other ones those days, and so many other ones. So if the government of the day, that brings me to the next point of that, I'm going to say that, look, I don't know if you remember an airline called Bellevue.
Of course.
Bellevue came in and, of course, was knocked off. And then, of course, bought over by the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and christening it First Nation. If you remember, I remember entering that flight. It was a very good airline with some what's it called, planes that he could say that there's a future in it. But to my surprise, that venture or that enterprise it wasn't up to 2 years. It went down.
Well, now, so one thing we need to actually be cognizant of in this direction is that management is everything.
Yeah.
And commitment too. If you look at APs, there are certain things that set APs somewhat apart. Allen Onyema is obviously and evidently giving in his burst. And again, the other difference is that most of his aircrafts were bought new. Do you understand? They were not used aircrafts. And there are certain advantages that goes with when you have wonderful implements or wonderful objects of operation. For example, you cannot compare a scenario where somebody walks into a car shop and buys a brand new car. You are not expecting the same level of service when you walk into a Tokumbo car shop and obtains a Tokumbo vehicle. Yeah. So I think Allen came prepared. That's the way I'm seeing it. All that will be needed to ensure that it does not go south is protection by government in areas where government needs to protect the airline. And in this instance that we're talking about, because there is nothing that Allen Onyema can do as a person. But once government wets in, and it can be a tit for tat situation. Yeah. You do me, I do you, as our people say. If the British governments or authorities understand that this government is not going to take any of those hanky-panky that saw to the crumbling of the other attempts, I can tell you that this route is also one of BA's most lucrative routes. So they wouldn't be able to lose it. Already, if you look at what is happening in that route, the entrance of APs, just with 2 flights, has begun to crush the prices.
The price
There's competition. Virgin Atlantic is now making offers. BA is making offers.
Telling you, controlling
exactly. So these are so for me, I have no fears as per what the management and management and staff of APs can do in this direction. My only fears and apprehension is let the Nigerian government come out firmly and play its role, because it's not just about junketing the world looking for investors that are not coming or willing to come to Nigeria. Protect what you have also. So as we do that, we need to ensure that whatever we have here that is aiding governments, the unemployment, helping to abet the unemployment situation in the country does not go down. So for me, I think that all that is required is that government's role to be played effectively. And I do not see APIS not succeeding. It had its challenges, and if it can survive COVID-19, if it can survive, if it can survive, the fluctuations that we have had in the recent past, and is still talking about having acquired about 30 new planes being expected in its fleet, it means, guy, that the man is liquid, the airline is liquid, and so if with that kind of liquidity and first class planes, I do not see why they can't fly. All they need is the protection that such businesses and establishments need. And like you said, it's important that we do not look at this airline as from the tribal angle, because at the end of the day, if there is one airline in Nigeria that has behaved so responsibly, in Nigeria's recent history, I cannot think about placing any other airline ahead APIS. So if this man, out of his own volition, had run to the rescue of Nigerians wherever they are troubled, free of charge, even at the risk of of his planes and the pilots and co-pilots and everybody, I think Nigeria must also be in a hurry to do whatever it could to ensure that it continues to succeed.
I remember vividly well that one of his last gift to this nation was during the last AFCON tournament.
Exactly.
I remember him lifting the Nigerian footballers on what's it called, business class exclusive.
Exactly.
And they went in and they came back with pride. And then these are things we should cherish. These are the things when you enter British Airline, what you're seeing is a British pomp and pageantry looking air hostesses and the rest of them. When you enter Emirates Airline, you're seeing those ones with their own attires.
Yes, Arabian-like gears.
You're seeing all those things. You're seeing those things. When Maroc stormed Nigeria some early 2-3 years ago, there about Maroc Air started flying, Lagos to Morocco to London. You understand me? It was at wee hour. They came in at their flight was taking off by around 2 a.m. or thereabout. You find out that Nigerians, because it's a bit cheaper, will go around and come to the airport and stay and sleep before it's the time to take off. Must we be keeping ourselves this way, always making ourselves a joke? Because this thing now, even if the government, and I'm still knowing that, I thank God that Onyema is not an outsider in this business. He knows his tracks very well. He knows his track very well. He's seen the pitfalls, and he has gotten and hired, getting the right people to be in his management team. And of course, like you rightly said, acquiring brand new aircraft gives you an edge. Putting the right people, like the testimony that you just heard about the gentleman write up about experience on regarding the flight. He will only be surprised to know that this is his daughter. and he's so grounded in the game. So I would like to tell all Nigerians, brothers and sisters, are you a Yoruba person, a Hausa person, Efik, Igbo, wherever you are, support this mission of air peace. Let's support it. Then that will give morale, there are people in Nigeria who can also own airlines. They could, yeah, they are, but they're watching. They're watching.
The question is, why should they be? Why you know? That's why I said these are inanities.
Yeah, it is like that, sir. It is like that because there's been that snap that curve about whatever an Igbo man is doing.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point I want to make, because at the end of the day, you go to the northern part of the countries, you see schools in the north that are not exclusively Islamic schools or schools run by Muslims or Islamic organizations. Sometimes within the ambit of their uniforms, you see things that ordinarily a Christian should kick against, but nobody kicks against it. In some parts of the West, in fact, sometime in Osun State, under Governor Rebeshola, we had, instances where he wanted to convert public school uniforms to Islamic wears. Yes, there were protests at that point in time because of the way he went about it. You understand? But in so many areas in this country where you expect nationalism in outlook, you still go there and you don't see some of them, but nobody complains because those things do not put food on the table. Those things cannot pay school fees. Those things cannot, add or remove to the decorum, that Nigeria requires to attain the level we want to see it attain. So I think Nigerians must, de-emphasize tribalism and religion, and then put a lot in merit, put a lot in expertise. Let's discuss things, for crying out loud, that will, somewhat improve the living standard of the country. One presidential candidate made it a sing-song the other time. He said he doesn't know of a market where, because maybe you're Hausa, you buy things less, or maybe because you are Igbo, you buy things at half the price, you ought to buy them. So, and that underscores, the negative energy we put into these things, because that's what it is. Any energy put into such things is negative energy. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. It is not what, for those of us who are, even students of Christianity and all that, it is not actually what you see that matters. It is what is within. You understand? So for me, Nigerians should rise above these tribal sentiments and, put their energies into making this country work. Put their energies into calling out people, public office holders who are not doing what they ought to do. Not talking about Isiagu or Babanriga or whatever it is. It's nauseating, really.
Yeah. I would like us to delve in on one or two, something I noticed. I actually said, I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it's a manifestation of the feeling of people from that sector on the airline. There was a bit of, I'm in the entertainment business, and you are in the media, so PR aspect of it. I believe Air Peace has their own PR department and all that, so media relations. I noticed that there was a large, or more or less a draft of celebrities from this side, from the western side, and of course some part of some northern part, who join in this euphoria of celebrating or pushing out this brand. I don't know if it is the fault is from the management of the airline, but I don't think it's so. I want to believe that they should know better to reach out and spray out that marketing possibility. bring them in. Some of them may just still have that same thing we are talking about, tribal sentiment and not that. But whatever it is, let it be known that an effort is made. Because I know very well the effort by Mike Adenuga in driving Glow. I know what went down, how much he stretched his hands out. And when they said he should do that, but he still opened his mouth and open up his heart and welcome everybody. That made Glow a national treasure that it is today in terms of, I don't know about the quality of service, but in terms of acceptability, people tend to reckon with it. But so please, the management of Onyema should encourage. I'm not saying that they should remove Isiagu, and I'm not. For me, if you ask me, you owe nobody anything, because that's what we have been using. I was trying to tell you something off record. I told you that my little company, it's got a bite, got a knock of it way back, and it still is getting the knock. And I tell them, look, don't look at that. Look at the mission of the brand. So if the PR department of Airpeace can do a bit more by welcoming in other level of marketing possibility, so that natural acceptability of the people will come in, the rest will follow. I think
while agreeing with you, I think Airpeace actually is doing a lot of that already. If you look at the key positions in the organization, you will find out that that's what I see. I'm not sure whether that was what informed it, but you could see some kind of spread. You understand? But spread, anchored on merit. Spread anchored on merit. Like if you look at the history of its COO, a very enterprising lady from the Southwest, you will find out that it's somebody who came in with loads of experience, somebody who has seen some stormy days in the industry elsewhere. So you already know where the banana peels are. So I think if you look at that inaugural flight, especially the one from Nigeria to Gatwick, if that's the one you're talking about, you could see that some good efforts were made. But I think it was anchored more on celebrities in their different professions, in the different walks of life, whose cases, could, appropriately, represent the sort of interest or commercial interest that the owners of Airpeace may have, wanted to, harvest from that trip. So all you're saying is that it should not stop; rather, it should be expanded upon. And I agree with that completely.
Thank you very much, Chris. I must say that we wouldn't have done justice to this issue of Airpeace, and we'll still be doing much. There are so many of those companies out there. There's an interesting company somewhere in Kano. We'll move on to get and bring such enterprise to Impact Plus. Viewers, this has been Impact Plus, and my name remains Nonsochukwu Nonsemekeko, and I've been sharing the Airpeace story. Airpeace has been given the wing to fly the world, and with Sir Chris Maku-Mosu, an iconic PR person, a media executive, and of course, a politician of note. It's been nice having you, sir, in this one. I was expecting to have a guest here, but he said he was going to be around, but he's not around. And a barrister was a little bit indisposed. And we'll hope to bring everybody together again. And if we don't, we'll always have the ones we have, but so that we can forge on with issues, pressing national and global issue. That's what Impact Plus is all about. We here.
Thank you very much, Nonso. My pleasure to be with you this time once again.
Thank you very much, sir. We here in Impact Plus is saying kudos to Airpeace management. That's an onion koji. Yeah, we're saying hold on, keep kudos to you, keep it up, and improve. Let us surprise the world. Let people fly into flights. Get served a good food. If it is a wedu bakery, you see it there. If it is pura, you will see it there, fresh, and you take it.
Of course, like Iyani would have said, the first thing he enjoyed was a goat meat pepper soup. Very well made one.
That's it. That's it.
And that the portion was good. He kept talking about the portion.
That's the kind of thing when the man finish eating that, he'll just be betching. He'll be betching correct bet. Right, that makes sense. you know. So it's not. We should pride our own. We should stop this thing and grow. Let's grow local. Let us grow local. Let the government start patronizing it. Let the government start showing interest. Innocent is there. We're going to go to Innocent. You're going to see someone. We're going to make effort to talk to them, and you're going to see what they've gone through, what they can produce. It doesn't matter where they are coming from. It's about the entity called Nigeria. If we must fix this nation, we just have to look beyond whatever we believe in.
Exactly.
That's all I can say. We just have to look beyond whatever we believe in and think Nigeria, and leave Nigeria, wear Nigeria, eat Nigeria. The politicians will wear ISI AGU. There's one politician that you know them. There was one they called what's it called? The former spokesperson to Atiku, Abubakar. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Daniel Bala.
All throughout the campaign, he was donning ISI AGU.
Exactly.
So when you politicize or put religion to everything about us, you are telling us that we are done. We don't know anything.
You can't even count the number of Southeasterners who are done Babanriga. So why don't they complain when we do that? That's the issue.
So we are so flexible. We are so open-minded when it comes to fashion. An Igbo man wears anything he wants, feels that his body fits into, and he feels proud of it. He dresses that way. But when you want to look at it, only when you want to get something from Igbo. You go and pick ISI AGU and put it on. It's not supposed to be so. Recognize us for what we are, the quality and the capabilities that we possess that is in us. A good manager of a nation or of a company will look at every product and find its unique selling point and use it to promote its brand. Every country has its own unique products. If it has blessed, if the heaven has blessed Igbo to own enterprise and grow it, to survive where others fail when it comes to business and management, why can't you, as a nation builder, look there and give them that status?
Exactly.
We are appealing on Tinubu, the president of the country, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to look again. He has been there as a governor. He has been there as a senate. He has been there. He has invested. He has gotten his fingers burnt with First Nation. He knows what it is. Let us give these people free hand to operate, knowing for that they are carrying Nigerian flag with them. Thank you very much, Sir Chris, and thank you very much, viewers at home. I'm emotional about this because yes, I am. That's ISI AGU is my. I can't deny it. I can't deny my tribe, man. I'm one people, and I should hold that. Thank you very much.
Like someone said, the era is gone. I think it's wrong for anybody to think that the Igbos are to be dictated to in everything that they do. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that. We are such an enterprising people. If there is any ethnic group in Nigeria that represents what Nigeria should be, it is the Igbo, because the Igbo is found virtually everywhere in this country, virtually everywhere in the world.
In the world.
And we don't just come. We come. We take your place as our home. We invest. That thing that where your wealth is, there shall your heart be. It's replete with the Igbos everywhere they are. So you can count on you know, in two palms, you know, how many investments Northerners have, for example, in Anambra State. But you can't do so in the north. Neither can you do so in Lagos of the Igbos.
You know, there's a joke, there's a silly joke that happened way back some years ago when I was in Ghana. We were one of those that government, the then Jonathan government sent to do on a what you call training. That's during the presidential amnesty training for the ex-militants. I was one of those who led some students to Ghana and some other countries, you know. But in Ghana in particular, we noticed that they came to when we moved into a particular place, a dead community. I'm talking about us as Nigerians now. I'm not talking about Igbo. Do you know what I mean? The community that was not active became active. Exactly. Commercial value of that place came up.
Exactly.
That's part of Nigeria. That's part of what an Igbo man stands for. That rubs off from the average Nigerian. When average Nigerian steps out of Nigeria, he becomes a hustler. He starts living the life. The trait of Igbo man comes into him. Exactly. A Yoruba man that is will be doing that Igbo trait. That somehow you see that trait of surviving, impacting on the society you are in, conquering the society you are in, earning from it, giving back is part of what it is all about.
Exactly.
Before you know it, the Ghanaian men started getting angry. Said they wanted started protesting. And they wanted. It was their women that was saying, "Look, where were you when these people were not here? Now they are here. They are giving us all that and giving us the other behind the other rooms and the rest of them." You know. But at the end of the day, we were able to make them realize that we are just here for a few months, and for some few months, and we'll be gone. But we are whatever we live, you will see. So Nigeria is a blessed nation. Ndi Igbo is blessed, and we will not have, you cannot, I stand to say, the era of shying away from it or not being afraid to say it is gone.
It's gone, my brother.
It's gone. It's gone. There are more of it coming. The earlier the country accepts it, the better for the growth of this country. Yes, better for Nigeria. The earlier, forget about what the politicians are doing. Those who go around make money through people and all that, they are not speaking for us. When an entrepreneur like Alan Oyema or the innocent people and Xenox and the rest of them talk, and so many other ones outside talk, I should listen. I should listen, because I know that they are putting their sweat, their emotion, and their dreams in their life into building that brand. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching Impact Plus on WAFO. Please, we appeal on you to subscribe, of course, like and share our content. We will do well to bring you issues that are germane in the public. Thank you very much, and God bless. Thank you, Sir Chris.
Thank you too.